週に1回日本語のレッスンを受けています。That is the title of this video, and it is also the concept we are going to be covering, which is how to describe frequencies of events in Japanese. That is to express how often you or someone else does a particular activity. So let's jump into it. The formula is period of time ni frequency, and that's basically it. Just particle ni is really your only grammar rule that you need to know for this rule here. But if you want to expand it out into a more complicated sentence, like I or someone else does this activity a certain number of times per unit, it is subject, wa or ga, period of time, ni, frequency, plus activity or event. So before you start plugging in your activities and your events and such, we need to cover first the periods of time and then the counter for times, basically the frequency that you do something. So for our periods of time, we have ichinichi, which is 1 day, isshu, which is a week, Ikkagetsu, which is a month, and ichinen, which is a year. Notice the Ikkagetsu, you may be wondering, okay, why is there like a katakana ke in there, and then why is she pronouncing it ka? It's fun, isn't it? It can also express it with a hiragana ka, but you'll often see it with this small katakana ke, and it's actually a kanji, I believe. It's not katakana ke, even though it looks like it's katakana ke. You know that it's not katakana ke because it's small, and it's pronounced ikkagetsu. And then you may also notice that I have in parentheses after these periods of time, kan, that is the kanji for aida or kan, which is like during or in between. So it's sort of like during the period of a day, during the period of a week, during the period of a year, but you don't always need the kan colloquially when you're speaking. Also, you don't always need the ichi when you're speaking colloquially. You may have noticed, like in the title of this video, and the very first thing I said was shuni rather than isshuuni or isshuukan. All of those are correct. It's just if it's 1 week, usually you don't need to say isshuuni, you just say shuni. So those are our periods of time. Now let's go over the counter for like the frequency, how many times you do something. So kai is our suffix for times, basically, our counter for times. So ikkai is 1 time, nikai is 2 times, sankai 3 times, yonkai 4 times, gokai 5 times, jukkai 6 times, danna-chan 7 times. I looked this up and it still doesn't sound right to me, but hachikai for 8 times. I don't know, I feel like it's hakkai, but then again, like a lot of Japanese people get their counters wrong too, and like when I was looking up counters, not just for this video, but for the other video I did about counters, like I found so many like other Japanese people looking up, is it hakkai or hachikai? Is it happun or hachifun? Like, they don't know either. So, you know, I think if you say hakkai, people will probably get it. If you say hachikai, people will probably get it. You don't want to say yakkai though, because that means something else. And then kyukai for 9 times and jukkai for 10 times. Basically, you know, say a number and add kai at the end of it, and maybe your pronunciation will be a little bit off if it's one of those weird numbers where you have to change things up, but you'll probably be understood. So let's see these in action in some sentences. Uchi no danna-chan wa ichinichi ni 3回ぐらい食べます. That means my husband eats about 3 times per day, which is kind of true. It's kind of more like twice per day, but I don't know, I wanted to use the number 3, so I lied and I said 3 times per day. That's normal too, to eat 3 times a day. That's considered normal. But anyway, uchi no, that usually, like it literally means at home, uchi no. But it really just means my husband, Uchi no danna-chan. Danna-chan is like hubby. my hubby. Wa, as for him, ichinichi ni, so that's my period of time, ni, and then my frequency is sankai 3 times. So in a day, 3 times. Gurai is about. Tabemasu, eat. My hubby eats about 3 times a day. Watashi wa 1週間に2回髪を洗います. Note how here I did 1週間に. I could have just said 週に2回, but you can say the whole thing. 私は, as for me, isshuukan ni nikai, so twice per week. Kami o araimasu, wash hair. So as for me, I wash my hair twice per week, that's pretty true. Wash it every 3 to 4 days. 1か月に, so notice here it's in hiragana. You don't have to use the weird tiny katakana ke. If that's tripping you up, just do the kanji for ichi and then ka, hiragana ka, and then tsuki, getsu, 1か月 ni. So in 1 month, ikkai, so one time in a month, once per month. Kaimono ni ikimasu, so kaimono ni ikimasu, go shopping. So once per month I go shopping. Ichinen ni 10回ぐらい髪を染めます. Once per year, ni 10回, so 10 times gurai, about 10 times per year. Kami o somemasu. I dye my hair about 10 times per year. That's also about true. Wow, I'm being truthful in these sentences. Concept. Oh dear, that's my cat. Uchi no neko-chan wa ichinichi ni 20回ぐらい泣きます. My cat meows about 20 times per day. I don't know, that's probably very conservative. I think my cat probably meows more like jukkai. Anyway, as a final note, your periods of time don't have to be like 1 day or 1 week or 1 month or 1 year. You could say like every 2 days or every 3 months or so on. So here's an example of a sentence that does that, and there's my cat meowing again. I don't know if you can hear that. Don't know if my little lav is picking that up. Anyway, Orinpikku wa yonen ni ikkai okonawaremasu. So you see that kanji, you might recognize it as the kanji for iku, to go. I actually used it like in my last sentence when I was talking about kaimono ni ikimasu. It's the same kanji, but pronounced differently if you have that hiragana after it. It's okonau, if it's just the regular verb, to conduct, to take place, to hold. Okonawareru is the passive voice version of that verb, which we are going to cover, I believe, later in this series. But it's basically the passive voice of that verb. So rather than to hold something, something is held. So the Olympics are held, okonawaremasu, yonen ni, every 4 years, ikkai, once every 4 years, the Olympics are held, in theory.
Do you want to come in? Do you want to be part of it? Hims wants to help.
Well, I had come to the end of this video anyway. Whoa, Jesus, neighbors, stop having judo. Anyway, if you want to review any of the sentences that I went over in this video, check the pinned comment in the comment section or the video description below. I have timestamps to all of the sentences that I went over in this video. Also, friendly reminder, do not learn all your Japanese from just me. I am an entertainment translator, and as such, I have a certain perspective on the Japanese language and how to teach it. But I am just one of many perspectives and one of many sources that you should be learning from. And at the end of these videos, I like to feature another resource for learning Japanese. And this week I am featuring...
Say it for me, Pan. Kamishiro Taishi!
So hey, I'm not the only translator out there either. Kamishiro Taishi is a Japanese to English translator who shows the process of translating on their channel. So this is a good resource to see in real time, a person actually going through the translation process of Japanese to English, so that you can see how it works and also pick up some Japanese through this process. So check it out. Oh, that was my computer you just jumped over. Thanks for watching, and thank you to all the patrons who support this and the other series on this lovely channel. If you want to support this exact series that you are watching right now for just $2 a month, you can do that and also receive some study materials. And I hope you join me next week when we will be discussing hoshi, including te hoshi.
Bye!